Hi, I'm Alana. Welcome to another video. In today's video, we're doing a get ready with me for church. So, today I want to recommend a book called Soul Murder by Morton Schatzman. So I had to buy this book on Amazon, but it's like pre-owned and it smells like a book and it's so beautiful and I'm obsessed with it. And I stayed up like my whole life last night reading it. And so I'm reading this book for my dissertation. I don't want to touch it because like it's too precious. I'm reading this book for my dissertation. It's about, so I'm writing about a man called Paul Schreber, who was a 19th century German judge who like went insane. And so this book, Soul Murder, is about how Paul Schreber's father, Dr. Schreber, how his teachings and like pedagogy books about the strict discipline of children may have contributed to Paul Schreber's psychotic break. And so it's called Soul Murder because in Paul Schreber's memoir, he writes that like he feels like his soul was murdered, but not by his father, because interestingly he's not like really conscious and doesn't really like remember the details of how his father treated him. But so like his father like advocated for the strict discipline of children, and you can see these like images here, like these here, these are like devices that he created for children that like it sits like when you're sitting in a chair, it sits like here and like holds your body like straight so that you can't like lean forward and backwards in the chair. And this one he created because like he felt that children like shouldn't be able to cross their legs because that might like elicit some like genital feelings, and like that's inappropriate for children. And he created this one here. This one here is like to be worn when the child is in bed. So you like strap their arms down so they have to sleep flat, so they can't like roll onto either side. So they have to sleep like strapped into their bed perfectly flat. And then this device he created is like for the head, so that the head, it's to be worn like 1 to 2 hours a day, so the head can be held like perfectly still, and so that like you can't turn the head side to side. And so yeah, Dr. Schreber advocated for like the strict discipline and like micromanaging of children. And in Soul Murder, Morton Schatzman says that Schreber's symptoms, his later symptoms when he went insane, are transforms of how his father treated him. So Dr. Schreber's father wrote, "It is a dangerous error to believe that flaws in a child's character will disappear by themselves." And he said that you must ruthlessly and vigorously prune them out. And so like there was this one example where he wrote that basically like, say if you said to a child like, hand me that spatula with your right hand, if the child like handed you the spatula with the left hand, then you should like brutally beat them and like discipline them until they understand to like not act out like that. Like, don't hand me the spatula with your right hand. I literally said, hand it to me with your left hand. And he said that you only need to like, he advised that you only need to brutally beat a child like once or twice, and they will be like compliant forever. Like it will be a lot easier to discipline them after that. He also said, so this is Dr. Schreber's father also said, disobedience should be crushed to the point of regaining complete submission, if necessary, through corporal punishment. So, yeah, so Schatzman says that Schreber's entire madness is an image of his father's war against his independence. And Schatzman writes, a feature of soul murder, it seems, was forbidding the victim to identify his murderer correctly. Because like later when Schreiber is experiencing his like delusions, he doesn't see them as coming from his father. He sees them as coming from God. And he sees it as like God is like fighting against him kind of thing. But then he also says God is on my side in his fight against me. And so Anna Schreiber, who I think was Paul Schreiber's sister, said that their father was seen by them as a god. So then like later in life when Schreiber goes insane, he does not consciously remember the things that his father did, but they like returned as like symptoms in like his delusions and hallucinations. And there's also a quote in the book of Jacques Lacan says, what then is the phenomenon of delusional belief? It is, let us say, misrecognition, with all the essential contradiction that this term contains. For to misrecognize presupposes a recognition, just as systematic misrecognition makes clear, since one must indeed admit that what is denied in some way is in some way recognized. So I think he's saying that like, you know, like in the case of people who are in psychosis, they while their beliefs might be like twisted and distorted and like present as delusions, unconsciously there is some part of them that like whatever they're resisting, it must be aware of what it is resisting in order to like, you know, create the delusions. I think that's what he's saying, more or less. So, yeah, very, very exciting book. Absolutely adored it. This is Soul Murder by Morton Schatzman. And thank you for getting ready with me for church today. You're beautiful, you're perfect, I love you, God bless you, goodbye.